long time ago, but I do feel that and I see that and I'm just like, what am I missing? And so that's the one thing that still gets to me. And maybe that's like ego or pride or whatever, but I'm just like, what do you like? What am I missing? That
Hey guys, we will soon talk about Bayley, and we're going to talk about why her career is on the more downside as far as victories go. And we'll explain the whole thing as far as her WrestleMania not being there. Let's tune in more to the Pink Square Circle. Hey guys, we're here at the Pink Square Circle. We will talk about why Bayley's at the twilight of her career. Let's come to the Pink Square Circle. Let's talk about it. Before we do begin of why Bayley's at the downside, let's take time out to put some respect on Bayley's name. She's earned a lot of championships, the NXT Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, Raw Women's Championship, tag team titles, and Money in the Bank for the women's division. Now, she was the first woman to gain all of these accolades in WWE, which makes her the first women's Grand Slam champion ever in WWE history. Now, we know recently with an update as of late last year, there have been two new titles introduced for the women's divisions, which is the Women's Intercontinental Championship and the Women's United States Championship. That has yet to be determined how they're going to play that out as far as the Grand Slam requirements go. But other than those two new titles being introduced, Bayley has won pretty much everything. Now, she come off a great last year. She won the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble match. She actually won at a record-breaking time at the time, before she went on to WrestleMania to fight for the WWE Women's Championship, which she did defeat Io Sky and win the championship at WrestleMania. And she held on to that championship until SummerSlam before losing it to Nia Jax. Now, this year was a little bit different for WrestleMania. She wasn't in the women's world title picture, but she was slated with Lyra Valkyria to compete for the women's tag team championships against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, the current women's tag team champions. However, shortly before WrestleMania, they had an angle where Bayley was attacked backstage and she was no longer able to compete for that championships, meaning she was not cleared, and they had to go find a brand new tag team partner for Lyra Valkyria. She had 24 hours, and we all know now that that tag team partner turned out to be Becky Lynch, which they did win in WrestleMania. Then they lost the following night on Monday Night Raw. But you guys know the whole story if you checked out WrestleMania 41. The thing I'm talking about with Bayley is there's been a lot of speculation with Bayley not being on the WrestleMania 41 card. They're saying that it's not fair that Bayley's off the card and that she should be treated better given her history of everything she's done for WWE. She's literally a WWE homegrown talent. She started her career at NXT, won the NXT Women's Championship, helped build NXT from the ground up, especially the women's division, and then go to the main roster, have the great career that she's had. And they saying at the point that she should not be one of those talents that's off the WrestleMania card. Now, I know she recently did an interview with Chris Van Fleet talking about, she's not on the level of Becky or Charlotte, or she questions too, doubting herself why she's not on posters. But she explains everything, why she's not on poster, advertisements, and everything else of sort. But the thing about Bayley, the people don't realize is the bad news I have for Bayley is for the fans of Bayley. Bayley's done so much in her career. Now, there is a little bit more for her to do. I'm not saying her career is completely a wrap, but the thing about Bayley, she's going to be at the point where she's going to put over talent. Well, let's hear the interview with Chris Van Fleet here.
long time ago, but I do feel that and I see that and I'm just like, what am I missing? And so that's the one thing that still gets to me. And maybe that's like ego or pride or whatever, but I'm just like, what do you like? What am I missing that you don't understand what I've done for this industry or what, it's hard to explain. And especially now, because I feel like, okay, well, been doing this for, now I've been wrestling for like 16 years altogether.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, obviously, like, I'm going to slow down at some point. But now when I see shit like that, like, oh, she's not this or not this, like now I have to, like, yeah, no, now I got to prove them wrong. But there's also a part of me that feels and agrees with them. Like I was just telling Lyra this the other day. We've been doing a lot of bonding. I don't feel that I'm at a level of a Charlotte or a Becky. And like, but we came up together, and like I wrestled Charlotte in her first match ever. Like I was signed to WWE before Becky. So like when I see, like, to me, they're up here and I'm just not there yet, you know? And maybe that's kind of like where people base it off, or like where they judge it or whatever. But like I keep saying, you know, I get my feedback and opinions from the right people to me. Like someone like Tyler Breeze, who taught me so many things. I still talk to him about all my matches. Like he still gives me feedback. He still gives me ideas to this day. And if he enjoys something that I do, then I believe it and I respect it. But if he tells me like, you need to do this better, I'll do it. Someone like TJ, I will, whatever he says, I respect it.
Punk even said, like, put some respect on her name.
Yeah.
And he had a really good point.
Yeah.
You won the Royal Rumble and you're not even at the press conference.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of moments like that. I feel like I don't get on the press conference. I don't get on the posters. I don't, get to do the talk shows. I don't know what else to do, and it's not like there's no heat in backstage or anything like that. Hunter and I have a really good relationship. Bruce and I have a really good relationship. All the TR, like I have such a good relationship with them, and I've always been professional. Even like, when I've gone to other shows to support my friends, like we've had those conversations of like the do's and the don'ts, and that was a little too much, or, like we've had those conversations. So I think we're at a real respect level. And Hunter's has like gone on press conference being like, Bayley's this, Bayley's this, Bayley's this. She's everything that, you could possibly want out of a superstar, which I appreciate. But it's like, all right, well, like, what do I need to do to get me there?
Yeah, and how do you not take that personally? Like you're being told you're going to win the Royal Rumble, then you win the Royal Rumble, you do the point and everything. Yeah. And then it's like, well, what now?
Yeah, I know. It's oof. By the time this comes out, there's going to be even
Wait, what does that mean?
It's hard. It's like sometimes I think it's my that's what keeps me here, is because I don't go freaking kick the door down and be like, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? I'm fucking Bayley. Like, why would I do that? But I don't do that. I've whatever they give, and I've learned this from Cena. I've learned this from Ray. Whatever they give you is like, make it work.
Yeah.
So that's always like what I've tried to do. And I'll come up with ideas. I'll come up with pitches. And I've learned that like sometimes if you get told whatever the creative is and you're not happy with it, and then I go and I say, hey, what if we do this instead? And then they say no. I feel worse after that than I felt with the original creative. So I'm just like, okay, how bad do I want to feel today? Like, or should I just accept what they gave me and then make it as best as I can? And then they'll be like, damn, she made that work. Like, let's go this way instead. And that does happen, especially with Hunter. Hunter, like, really, it happened a lot with Damage Control. Like, if you look at like EO, how big EO got, or like he was basing it off of how the crowd was reacting to us, and how, he would be like, this is what we're thinking, but let's just see how they react with this, and then like the story would kind of change depending on, or it went on way longer than he expected it to. Like, I don't think this was supposed to go to Mania last year.
Yeah.
Last year. So yeah, and that's like a fun process, but I think I went a little off the rails. One of the main things that I have learned in a book that I read it's called the what is it called? Laws of agreement or something.
The 4 agreements?
4 agreements.
Oh, I talk about
The
this book
4
all the time.
agreements, yes.
I love it.
Don't take anything personal.
Don't take anything personally.
That is like, and then there's impeccable with your word. What's the other one?
Always do your best.
Always do your best. And there's one other one, but the don't take anything personal is like literally what I live by.
Yeah.
It's not personal.
Don't make assumptions.
Yeah, don't make assumptions. But it's literally like, it's not personal. Because they're not putting me on the posters, they're not like, hey, take Bayley off. Like, let's just hurt her feelings a little bit. You know, like it's not personal.
Yeah.
It's not. And my ego will get over it, you know, like who cares? It's not personal.
Also, we had Bishop Dyer, aka Baron Corbin. He went on Busted Open. He said he had a few days to calm down. He said he was very angry that Bayley was, someone who's carried the whole company through the COVID times when Bayley had her record-breaking 520 days. He's saying that it's wrong that Bayley is off the WrestleMania 41 card. He went off on it. He was very, very upset. And he said that she's done everything she could for the company, meaning not only she's done everything to ask, she's been on WrestleMania. And he said he don't care if she knew the story ahead of time. People all do this, take the bumps, work, and then 2 days we're going to replace you. He said he know that Bayley's going to be fine, but he said it's just a BS way of how they treated her of not putting her on a WrestleMania 41 card. Like I said, everyone is upset about how Bayley's not on his card. Now, Triple H also said at the press conference for WrestleMania 41 that Bayley's good. It's not a legit injury. It's a storyline. But they're saying that they took her off, so Becky could come back. And like I said before, with Bayley, at this point in her career, unfortunately, for the Bayley fans, listen good, I like Bayley. Bayley's one of the best talents of the women's division. Let me say that first and foremost. I will say this, Bayley is not going to be at the point in her career where she's going to be in the main event scene, winning women's championships. She's not going to be doing that anymore. Why you think last year in 2024, Bayley had the run she had? She won the Women's Royal Rumble. She had the Women's Championship on SmackDown before losing it to Nia Jax at SummerSlam. It's not going to be like that for anymore. It's not because Bayley's in trouble or she's in a bad spot with the company. It's just Bayley time has passed. We have to remember Bayley debuted back in 2015, exactly 10 years ago on the main roster. She's the part of the 4 horsewomen alongside Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call her. We know who you guys know who I'm talking about. Thing about it is, at this point in her career, she has to put over new talent. Talent like Lyra Valkyria, talent like Liv Morgan, talent like Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, and the list goes on and on and on. That's why they put her on NXT. She was in the women's 4-way championship for the NXT Women's Championship where Julie was champion. She's going to be putting over talent. Now, I will say this. I mentioned the Women's Intercontinental and United States Championships earlier. That's the most I see Bayley doing. She will win those championships. It's to keep the Grand Slam Grand Slam record and accolade to her name. But I don't see Bayley winning women's championships anymore. Not the Women's World Championship, not the WWE Women's Championship. If she somehow do end up winning one of those championships, she will be a very, very transitional champion. I mean, and she'll hold the belt for maybe a few days, a week, a month before someone cashes the women's Money in the Bank contract on her, for example. Well, however WWE will book it. But there's no need for Bayley to be winning all these the main championships anymore. She could win the secondary championships, like I mentioned. She don't even need to win those titles no more. She's done her thing, her career. Bayley's had the longest reigning WWE. It was known as the SmackDown Women's Championship, now known as the WWE Women's World Championship. She doesn't have to do that anymore. I don't think there's anything else for her to do as far as the main event scene goes. Now, Bayley could still have feuds. She still could be in the big storylines, but she will be more likely, like I said, putting over talent instead of her being on top all the time. There's going to be no more of that. Bayley had her time. It's up. She really did her thing, like Bishop Dyer said during the COVID era. She can't be on top all the time. It's going to be a time where someone does come up, they start getting a push, they get over, they win a lot, they win championships, then there's the time at the twilight of their career, hey, I'm going to be losing a lot more. I'm going to be still wrestling and having feuds, but I'm going to be putting over the future. I'll be putting over the new talent, someone, the up-and-coming talent that they're really looking at, and they need a name for that up-and-coming talent to get over, and they're using Bayley just for that. Unfortunately, it's at Bayley's expense, but she's cool with it. She said in an interview she has no bad blood with WWE. I know she has a year and a half left on her contract. I don't think Bayley's going to leave WWE. She's going to continue to be with the company, do her thing, and just be a team player like she's always been. But that's all I have for why Bayley's at the twilight of her career. You guys let me know what you think about it. Is it wrong for Bayley to be off the WrestleMania 41 card? Should she still be in the main event scene? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Check out the content here at Pink Square Circle, guys. Until then, guys, I will see you guys later.